Breaking news. Today we're talking about branding for law firms. When it makes sense, when it doesn't make sense. Should you even do it? Should you not do it? These are answers that we're going to go over.
Answers, questions, however you want to do it. But why do so many attorneys waste so much money on branding? Billboards, bus stops, radio commercials. You know what my favorite thing is when I'm driving in a car and I hear a radio commercial for an attorney? I love it how I can always remember their phone number the next day.
I can't.
Or when I'm passing by the billboard of the attorney and I'm like, oh, well, if you go to LA, remember when we drove to LA? And there was 12 personal injury law firm billboards in a row. Boom, boom, boom. And you know what? I made a decision during that quarter mile.
What'd you make a decision?
I liked number 4 because they used orange and blue for their colors. That's why I picked them. All right. Do you guys get what we're saying? Branding only makes sense at a certain stage of your firm's journey. All right, and that's what we're going to talk about today. There's 2 types of advertising, 2 types of marketing. There's direct response and there's branding. Direct response is when you're trying to get a very specific ROI, a very specific result instantaneously from your marketing efforts. And then branding is a more long-term effort. It's a more of an indoctrination of the audience to get a core message out there or to get a visual message out there that anchors in someone's brain, but it only truly anchors over a long period of time. It's not very quantifiable, so you can't really measure the results of it. It's difficult to measure the results of branding, and it also takes years, honestly. Why is it that attorneys want to start branding their firm so quickly, so early?
Because that's what they think they need to do. So you think, oh, you look on Instagram, you see some of these guys that are crushing it, and you're like, oh, I like that person. I want to be like them, but you think that's what drives cases. And
Are you alright? Are you alright?
I got the
Dude,
hiccups. I got the hiccups.
Stop drinking bubbles.
Is that what causes hiccups? The way I like to look at it is budgeting, right? You have X amount of money. And when people think branding, they're thinking about organic branding, but you also have paid branding. So a lot of people jump to Instagram to do Instagram posts, branding. And that's cool. You can do that. That's actually free. So you should be doing that if you have the time and energy to do it.
I honestly think there's a misconception that attorneys think that posting on social media is actually a form of direct response.
No.
They actually think that it's going to get them cases by just posting on social media all the time. Unless, for whatever reason, you have the X factor in your videos, for whatever reason, actually blow up. But that really only happens after you've been consistently posting hundreds of posts every single day.
The X factor is sort of like a charisma type. You have some people who post on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and they just understand what people want to see. They find a formula, and they have a certain personality that people just gravitate towards. The reality is those are outliers. That's not everybody. If you want to brand properly, it's going to cost you a lot of money. And you have to be okay with not getting a return on that investment. That's why the successful law firms, they don't focus on branding in the beginning. What they do is they focus on direct response, which is, hey, you're a cold audience, you don't know me, but I know what you want, come hit me up.
So what's the rule of thumb? If I'm starting my law firm and I close a few big cases, I got some money and I want to start marketing, I'm done with the referrals, waiting and hoping for referrals, I want to spend some money. How do I allocate those funds?
The golden rule is 25% of your gross revenue goes to marketing. From that, you partition it 80-90% will go to direct response. 10 to 20% will go to branding. It doesn't even make sense until you hit a certain level of revenue anyways. So think about it, if you're bringing in $100K a month revenue, then you can spend you have $25,000 to spend on marketing. Well, if you only have $25,000, that's essentially your budget to direct response.
At that point, you wouldn't even be splitting it up between direct response and branding. If you only have $25K a month to spend on marketing, that should be going 100% to direct response because even to play in the game, in the personal injury world at least, you got to be spending at least that much per month to even have an effect.
Yeah, one billboard is $10K. So I wouldn't even say you should even do any type of branding, spending money on branding, even if it's organic. You still have to pay somebody to make you videos unless you're doing it on your own, unless you have your paralegal or somebody is media gifted and they can help make the videos. I would say don't focus on branding until you have about $5,000 to $10,000 of disposable income that you're willing to throw at it for, let's say, 5 years each month, and you're okay with throwing it in the wind and not seeing an immediate return.
And I think what we've seen with our clients is that it makes the most sense to start actually investing in the branding once you hit around 50 cases a month.
If 50 cases a month, that's like average take home on a regular schmegler case.
I'm gonna call it 7,500. That's 375,000 a month. So if you break that down, 25% of that is about $93,000 for marketing. That's a good chunk. So you can take 10% of that, which would be like around 10 grand. Like $9,300 around 10 grand. That's a perfect. Now you have 10 grand to spend on branding, and you have basically like 80K to spend on direct response.
Yeah.
That's when it makes the most sense. That's when you're around about 50 cases a month.
Like, so you could do radio. Radio is expensive depending on your market. You could do radio, you could do billboards, you could do social media. My favorite way to do branding is whereas most people, like where you're gonna get the best bang for your buck. Like you could do TV. TV will get like an older audience. I like social media. You could create like cool, fun videos with a catch line.
Create a catchphrase that has your firm name in it or whatever your tagline is and make it catchy so it gets stuck in people's head.
The formula that gets stuck in most people's heads the easiest is using humor. Mm-hmm. So humor is the most persuasive tool you have, and that's why people spend millions and millions of dollars on these commercials that make you hee hee.
Right, that's why when you watch Super Bowl commercials, 90% of them are funny.
Exactly.
And there's a reason for that. There's data behind that. Yeah, with social media, you're gonna get the most bang for your buck. You're gonna get the most eyeballs on whatever ad that you create. And it's cool to do branding stuff on social media because you know you can get hundreds of thousands of people to see it, but you're also not really too concerned with how many leads it generates. But the cool thing about social media is that even though it doesn't generate leads, it generates other things like followers, DMs, comments. Like you get all these crazy engagement from it, and then as a result of that, leads do actually get generated.
Yeah.
You know, but the cool thing about it is that's not your main concern. Your main concern is to get awareness, get eyeballs on your brand, get people seeing you, talking about you, engaging with you. And if you could create a video that's dope enough for people to actually want to share, that magnifies it even more.
And this is where like the creative and having a team that really understands like, you know, psychology of the viewer.
You can't just like willy-nilly kind of dabble in branding. Without the consistency over time, hitting people over the head, creating banger, it's useless.
Yeah.
So it's like when you start it, you can't ever stop. If you want it to actually be worth it, then you have to be consistent with it over time and keep putting stuff out there.
Right. And we have a lot of firms that hit us, reach out to us because they want us to do this for them because they seen what we did for like Daniel.
Or King.
Once we get into their business and their metrics and their revenue, it doesn't make sense for them. They can afford it, right? They can spend the money on it. But at the end of the day, what are they trying to get?
Cases.
They're trying to get cases. So I was
Right.
like, well, if you're trying to get cases, this is not going to generate the case volume that you need today to push the business forward. And right now, you need to worry about top line revenue.
Top line revenue is funding your operation, getting you to the revenue point where then you can invest the proper amount into branding. And there's a turning point, actually, once you get to a certain size where the marketing mix switches, right? It switches from being mostly direct response, a little bit of branding, to mostly branding, a little bit of direct response. Your branding is only going to take you as far as how good the branding is, too.
Yeah.
If you're really trying to differentiate yourself through the brand itself, it needs to be really good. It needs to be different. It needs to be catchy. It needs to be unique. Because we know law firms that like they have a brand and they're big, but they don't spend that money on their branding because they just don't care.
Yeah, they really don't care.
And if they really put all this money into their brand with what they're currently doing, it would actually be, they would probably lose money on it because they didn't put a huge effort into their brand.
You kind of have to have a different type of attitude because a lot of people, they make a lot of money, but they don't really care about being that front facing.
Right.
Like they know they don't need to be. They can do it all through direct response.
And that's why we come across law firms all the time that we've never heard of that are doing 1,000 cases a month. Mm-hmm. I'm like, never heard of these guys.
To be honest, branding is not that important for some of these law firms. It's strictly the business. But the branding does feed the direct response, and the direct response does feed the branding. They supercharge each other.
That's one of the things we see, especially on social media. Well, it's like you have to think about multiple touch points. Like, okay, you're driving in the car and you see the billboards. That's only so effective. Then if you experience that same brand somewhere else, like on social media, or you see an ad on social media, and then your brain starts making that connection. Mm-hmm. And then you maybe hear about it from somebody, and then you see see it in another vertical, and you see it in another vertical. And then once you have the entire ecosystem working together, it strengthens everything. It increases your conversion rates. Like all of our clients who we do brand awareness campaigns for and direct response campaigns for, they have a much higher conversion rate than those that don't.
I'm a big lover of direct response because that feeds top line revenue. And once you understand direct response, then you don't really have to worry about going so hard on the branding. But if you can honestly marry the two, you're going to have just stronger results. It's all about public perception. How much can you get stuck in people's head when something does happen? They trust you before they even know you. They just know that, hey, I see this guy all the time. He has to be good.
Right. Otherwise, he wouldn't be everywhere.
Or else he wouldn't be everywhere.
We know that's some bullshit.
Just because you have insider knowledge does not mean the public has insider knowledge. They're not thinking about you. They're not thinking about... Most people do not know anything about business or the inner workings of it or advertising or psychology, any of that. They're worried about going to work, making some money, doing what their hobbies, going home to their family, whatever's. That's a big problem that we see with people too. They're like, oh, like people are going to see right through it. It's like, no, they're not.
Internally in the industry too, like all these attorneys think that everyone else's marketing affects them so much. It's like, oh, these guys, we see these guys and they're doing this and we're doing that. It's just like the market is so massive.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It doesn't affect you. If Morgan & Morgan can come in and spend $400 million on marketing, your little firm is still getting cases every single month. Trust me, there's enough to go around.
There's a lot of going around. Like think about like Pepsi, Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
RC Cola, yeah. RC Cola.
Mr. Pibb.
Mr. Pibb, Dr. Pepper, all that stuff. They're all making a lot of money. Yet there's a bunch of options, but yet they're all crushing it.
So bottom line, invest in direct response first. Don't worry about your brand. Once you have a machine that's just churning out cases from the direct response, and that's on autopilot because you've built that right system, then it frees up some time and some headspace for you to start investing in some cool branding stuff that can complement your direct response.